Well, I watched the new I Know What You Did Last Summer yesterday, and personally, I don't care what you did last summer, but for this summer, I'd recommend skipping this movie. When a group of friends is involved in an accident resulting in someone's death, they agree to move on and never speak of it. But on the anniversary of the accident, one of them receives a mysterious note that reads, "I know what you did last summer." And from there, they begin to be picked off one by one as they work to uncover who the killer is. No, that is not a synopsis of the original, even though it literally is. And while not a remake, this film is a legacy sequel, it's pretty much a remake for a pretty large chunk of the movie, except they do change one pretty big thing, and that change was so stupid, and to me made no sense, and I thought it only made the movie worse. Eventually, they begin to work in the legacy sequel stuff, bringing in some of the original characters, and the film does enough to differentiate itself instead of just feeling like a cheap copy. But even when it feels like its own movie, it can be incredibly cliche, and it's only ever okay at best. The cast here is pretty good, but none of their performances stand out, but they aren't bad, so that's a compliment, right? Chase Sui Wonders and Madeline Klein have the most to do here, with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. returning to their roles from the first two movies. It was cool to see them again, but I don't really like the way they were utilized, and that's all I'm going to say on that. Most of my big issues do include spoilers, so I'm going to try to be vague, but I am doing a full ranking video of the I Know What You Did Last Summer movie series, not the show. I'm not including that, but look out for that, and in there I'll go into full spoilers. It is a slasher film, so I have to mention the kills, and yeah, they're alright. There aren't any that are gonna stick with you, but they're mostly well executed. The film is directed by Jennifer Caton Robinson. I've seen her other film, Do Revenge, and I enjoyed it, so I know she could do good work. And most of my issues aren't with the directing, even though the tone can sometimes shift a little too far. It might get a little too goofy at times, and I don't really think it fits with the rest of the film, but you can't entirely blame the director for that. It's also on the writing, and that's where most of my issues lie. There's a pretty big plot hole that easily could have been solved with one line, and I'm able to make it make sense on my own, but it's not something that's left into interpretation, and it doesn't even come off like that. It really just seems like they completely forgot about this thing, didn't care to explain it, and then, yeah, it's just left to the viewer or the audience member to just kind of figure it out. But I don't know, it just felt really lazy. Like, did you even watch the other movies? Can you fill in that gap at least a little bit? But they don't. Earlier I mentioned the film started off as a pale imitation and then kind of got its footing, and it was okay, but by the end, for me, it completely fell apart. There's this A Nightmare on Elm Street level nightmare sequence, and it just didn't fit here. The reveal was kind of weak, and I actually hated what they did with part of it. There's things that make absolutely zero sense, and then they're kind of just laughed off, I guess. And then to top it off, there's a post-credit scene that also makes no sense, and I can't even explain to you why it doesn't make any sense or why a lot of these things really bother me, because, I'd be spoiling every single plot point of the film. That's why just look out for my my ranking video, where I will be talking spoilers, because I have a lot to say. This movie just pissed me off. It's another legacy sequel. It makes references, brings back OG characters. They say certain lines to try to hit the nostalgia, but for me, almost none of it worked. At one point, it almost had me, but quite frankly, it just went to shit after that, and I think most people will leave thinking it's alright, and then just kind of forget about it. But for me, I'd say please just skip it. Just don't watch this movie. So what did you think of the new I Know What You Did Last Summer? Let me know, and once again, last time I'll say it, look out for my ranking video of the series, and please subscribe. I talk about things like movies, TV, and video games, or go watch some of my other videos and shorts. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.